A warm welcome. Do I need to welcome you though?
Thank you. This is like our second home.
This is home, right?
People just sometimes would judge us based on this.
Yeah,
what they
the look,
Right.
and what they expect us to look
be.
like.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. You start saying that you're gay. Already people have got their own assumptions
Right.
and ideas of who you are.
So I then went to this event and I had makeup and I had weave for the first time, right?
Yeah.
And this person says to me, "Oh, are you transitioning?" And I'm like, "Oh, so it's only people that are transitioning that should have
That
hair
look
and
like
makeup,
this, yes.
right?"
I knew a lot of queer people growing up, but how they also represented themselves made me scared to come out as gay growing up.
I've got to just live for me. People are not going to like me regardless.
Yeah.
You know?
True.
So I'm just going to learn to love and accept myself for who I am. And the moment I did that, you know, like we're talking about the 2000s now, it's like there is no closet.
Look, they're
Yeah.
here. There is. It doesn't exist.
No, it does not exist.
A lot of people
What
are in
right?
the closet actually the 90s, the 80s,
Yes.
the people who were in the 70s, the
Yeah.
born in the 70s.
Hello and welcome to the Real Queer Talk with myself, Tholo, the inimitable one, Motaung. Hello, friends, family, siblings, and everybody who's watching. Welcome to another episode. And we've been away for a while. Sorry for being away and not saying anything. But hey, guess what? We're back, and we're back with a bang because we've been cooking and we're bringing you the best that you deserve to get. I hope that you are ready for this one because you'll need to buckle up. It's going to be an exciting one. It's going to be one that is going to take you through emotions, whether it's happy or sad emotions, but it is definitely going to be a bumpy ride with you. So today I am with my friends, and on my far right, it is Tshediso Tsheola-Brown, and on my right here next to me, it is Mario V, or Mario Visagie, known as Mario V, right, in the beauty industry. So I'm having my friends today, and we are wearing skirts and formal tops. And the reason for this is because every time we're going to find somebody that inspires us, and we are going to dress according to how they usually dress. And today we are dressed like Mark. Mark is a German gentleman who is straight, but he wears skirts and heels because he says it makes him comfortable. And I think this teaches us that when it comes to clothes or fashion, really doesn't have gender. It is about what is it that you are comfortable with as an individual. And you can see we're all wearing skirts, we're all wearing heels, we're looking fabulous. So you'll see our pictures, don't worry, because we are seated. And we'll be bringing you this once every month. I'll be having them joining me. We'll be talking about various issues that not only affect us as queer people, but also, you know, how then do the rest of society feel about us? What do they think about us? Those kind of conversations that are necessary to have. And a warm welcome. Do I need to welcome you though?
Thank you. This is like our second home.
This is home, right?
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
No, it's a great pleasure. And I think just to give viewers a perspective and a bit of an overview of who you guys are. Of course, I've said your names, but there's more behind the names, right? If you can just share what you want to share with viewers in terms of how they need to know you.
What I want to share.
Yeah.
That's a good one. I can't share everything.
Yeah.
So my name is...
Sorry to disturb you. And start with your pronouns because that is another important thing that we always have to remember.
It's big.
Yeah.
So for me, he, she goes. I feel comfortable. Because sometimes I would be presenting as feminine, sometimes a bit masculine. Yeah. So people sometimes would get a bit confused, but he, she goes for me. So my name is Tshediso Tsheola-Brown. I do work in the automotive industry. I won't mention the company.
Yeah.
I am also a chairperson of Gauteng chairperson of SA Queer Movement. I am a chairperson also of a non-profit organization.
Sure.
Yeah.
Right. No, it's weekend. It's weekend. That's why. By the way, we're shooting on a Saturday, right? So it's a weekend. We understand.
Yeah, it just went.
Yeah.
It is called Tato One Big Family LGBTIQA plus society. It is literally focusing on the queer individuals. So I'm very, very passionate about our people, our community. And it has not been like that for the longest time. But as I grew older, I found myself being drawn into what makes us who we are as queer people. And I found that I actually find a space where I can fit and have a voice, you know, and be able to make a difference. I think the most important thing for me is to be able to make a difference, leave a legacy, impact lives. You know, I want to be remembered for that. One day when I'm gone, people say, but you know, Tshediso made any impact, you know?
Right.
Not long ago, somebody was like, just even the way you dress, you just inspire me. You know, I look at myself, I'm like, why am I not as free as Tshediso is? You know? So being in that space then made me realize that there are a lot of younger Tshidisos out there just wanting somebody to look up to. So I'm here for that.
Yeah. Lovely.
Thank you.
Thank you for the lovely introduction.
Great. So I'm with CD on that one. When it comes to my pronouns, I'm he, she. That's also because, like CD, I also present sometimes feminine, sometimes masculine, so I don't really mind. I'm also a lot of things, you know.
Unpack this,
right? So I'm in the beauty industry. I'm a beauty mogul, basically, an entrepreneur, specializing in makeup artistry, permanent makeup. Skin is my thing. I love skin. I also have an NPO, which is MTY Productions. And MTY Productions is where we focus solely on young girls from underprivileged communities. And we literally host beauty pageants for them to be inspired by, and, you know, to also see beyond circumstances and what they're actually facing on a regular, on the day-to-day. So MTY Productions is mainly just centered around empowerment and development, self-love. That is what we focus on, and confidence. And then I also have my own business, an Unblemished Beauty Makeup and Nail Academy, which we have a branch here in Gauteng. We also have one in Durban, and that is also skill-based. So I'm more on skill development, empowerment, wanting anybody that comes into our space to be equipped with the necessary tools to go out there and make a great impact on their social lives, on their lives, their well-beings. As we do currently know that our economy could also be taking a little bit of a dip. And it's so necessary for one to actually be skilled. So that is the reason why I went into skills development and skill programs. And
phenomenal. Phenomenal. Thank you so much for that introduction as well. And what I pick up is that you are passionate about helping other people, you know, that it's not only about you, you know, it's about how then do you extend a hand to other people, you know, whether it's in the business space or also in the non-profit organizations that you're involved in, right? Why allowing yourself to serve other people? Because that's literally serving other people. I mean, you're doing amazing stuff. You could just, you know, decide that I'm going to be what I am and that's it, you know, but you're being selfless in that, you know, you open that door to be able to help other people.
100%. I also feel like, for me, it's a calling. I feel I was here for a purpose. And yes, like you're saying, we could just have businesses and just stop there. But you know, when your cup is full and you just
runneth over.
Right?
Yeah.
And what needs to run over needs to run into others.
Yeah.
And you need to fill somebody else's cup.
Yeah.
And I definitely believe that God ordained me for a moment such as this, where I can be equipped and empowered with the necessary tools and knowledge, not just to hold on to myself, but to give off to others. And that is why I think God has been so good to us.
Yeah.
Right?
That's so
and
true.
It's amazing.
That's so true.
It's never about us.
Hey?
It's never about me. There's always a bigger picture. Mario spoke about walking in purpose. It's a purpose. You know, we are here to be able to touch and change other people's lives. That is our soul mandate.
Yes,
that is who we are. We can't be beings on earth and just exist. You know, when God showed love to us, then we need to return the love and show it to other people. So it's never about us. We are always part of a bigger plan, something that is bigger than us. So you can't be selfish not to be able to impact other people's lives. There are people who feel like, you know, certain things are for certain people. You know, but like you're saying, sometimes it is a calling where you literally find yourself gravitating, even if you don't want to. Like with me, I never thought that I'd find myself in spaces where I'm at, but all the time I find myself being pulled into that direction. So I had to take a moment and say, okay, what is this? And you know, and heed the call to do something. When I actually then stepped in, then I realized that actually there are people who are watching, there are people who are seeing the difference or the impact that I have. So it's always something bigger than us. We are meant to be able to touch and change people's lives. And I would like to believe that as queer as we are, we've got so much to offer. And people just sometimes would judge us based on this,
what they see.
The look, and what they expect us to look like.
Right. You start saying that you're gay, already people have got their own assumptions and ideas of who you are, you know. And it's like
who you should be.
Literally. And we've got so much to offer.
It's interesting when you say that, because I working in the media space, so I had a certain look. Then there was a time when I think, you know, when you grow up, you blossom in a sense that as you grow older, you find yourself better, and you find what is it that you resonate with, what is it that works for you, what is it that doesn't work for you, right? So I then went to this event, and I had makeup and I had weave for the first time, right? And this person says to me, "Oh, are you transitioning?" And I'm like, "Oh, so it's only people that are transitioning that should have hair and makeup," right? And it was interesting that they said that, because I'm gay and I don't intend to transition. But at the same time, it doesn't mean I should be boxed in terms of what I should wear, how I should look like. And that's why I'm non-binary, because one moment I am more feminine, one moment I am more masculine, and I'm just there in between, you know. So it becomes interesting that, you know, people will expect that because I've seen you masculine, therefore you must stay masculine. Or I've seen you feminine, therefore, because then if you're feminine, it means, you know, then it becomes you're transitioning. Which it was quite a statement for me. Like, oh, okay.
That's huge.
I didn't expect this.
That's very huge.
Right?
Bold for that person. Even
But Tshedi, I want us to talk about what you touched on earlier, that they're the young Tshidisos out there, you know. And we know we have people that sometimes they reach out to us, either to ask advice or assistance or anything of that sort. Because for me, it then opened my eyes that actually there are young ones that are looking up to me, right? What has been the experiences for you guys? And also, do you feel some kind of responsibility or even some kind of pressure, knowing that there are young ones that are looking up to you? Because for a person like myself, I liked to have somebody that I could identify with growing up, you know, because I come from a very small town in the Free State where I knew, I think, one or two gay people, but then they then left because and I think another one went to a varsity, another one I'm not sure where they went. Then you're like, who do I look up to? Who looks like me? You know?
Right.
Okay. It's more of a responsibility than pressure. Growing up, I fortunate enough, I knew a lot of queer people growing up, but how they also represented themselves made me scared to come out as gay growing up. And it then, took me longer to be myself, took me longer to embrace who I am, because it meant to me, if I say I am gay, it means it's that.
Yeah.
We've got a responsibility to present ourselves in a good light. Because there is no way where you can say people are not watching. It might not be in the social media space, but at home, in the community,
even in your family,
in your
right?
family,
yes,
in your family, somebody is looking up to you, whether you are aware of it or not.
Sure.
People are always watching. I do have a family member, she's queer. And she's literally close to my heart because she's my brother's daughter. Sorry to talk about you here, but yeah. And I had to carry the responsibility to be the good example to her of it's okay to be queer. You can be yourself. There's nothing wrong with you. You are loved. You are appreciated. You are gorgeous. You are handsome. You're beautiful. So it's more of a responsibility than pressure. And being able to engage with other younger me, it's actually surprising, where people will come up to you and say, you inspire me to be. You inspire me to be myself. And there's this other one that says, you need to meet my mom. If my mom meets you, then she will understand who I am, Then I saw this is a responsibility, this is a task. And now I have to find ways and means that I meet the mom, And obviously now coming to meet the mom, I must represent.
Yes, you must look the part.
I must look the part. I think growing up, I didn't have people that I would really look up to who were good examples.
Role models.
Role models. That's a perfect word. Because I always, when I saw it, I'm like, but I don't want to associate. We lacked people that really portrayed of substance. Where people are gonna say, I wanna be.
100%.
And when you say that's part of the reasons why the Real Queer Talk started, right? Because I think society in general is looking up to popular queer people that are big, the big names in the media industry, and for them, because probably they became big and became known, therefore if you are gay you should look like, if you are gay you should act like, because that's what they see on TV every day. But what they're missing is that we are here and we're very diverse,
100%.
Right? But beyond that, also how we carry ourselves, it's very different, right, from others. Others prefer to live their life in the fast lane. Others prefer to live it in a very quiet space, in a very quiet way. You have professionals, you have successful business, queer people that would say, I don't want to be in the media. I'm just, they don't even like social media for that matter, but they prefer to be in the quiet, but they're there, they exist. They're parents, they are uncles, they are aunts, and they're living. So I love what you're saying.
The Dreamstream Studio in Randburg is a full-service studio on Bromfisher Drive. It's perfectly suited for podcast, music recordings, and general video recordings. Backed up by an experienced editing and production team means you can walk in, record, and walk out knowing that everything will get done as you require. Our mobile gear ensures we can cover your video and live streaming needs on location too. We got the cameras, the lights, and the action to make you and your brand shine. Contact us now, studio@dreamstream.co.za, and we'll make it happen. Dreamstream, a place to create yourself.
True.
Yeah.
Represent.
You've got to.
Yeah, more than anything, just represent well. You know, because imagine if I had role models then.
Right.
Yeah, as a child, it only dawned on me later in life that actually queer people can also be professionals.
Yeah,
100%.
Doctors, lawyers, accountants. You know, and back then. You when I grew up, it was deemed you very demonic.
Yeah.
Nothing is going to happen to you. No blessings that are going to come upon your life. You know, so, and looking at the people at that time, I'm like,
It's true. It is right.
It's true. Nobody spoke of profession.
Yeah.
Nobody spoke of, I didn't see ambition. I didn't see people who are literally going to represent.
Because you want to see that.
That's what you want to see. And like I'm saying, it's not pressure, but it's more of a responsibility.
Yes.
Yeah.
To show the younger ones that we can actually be something in life.
Mario,
You know?
the role modeling part, you know, how important is it, and what has been your experience?
Well, I'm definitely with Cidy on this one. I also grew up in a community where, yes, there were, I think I could count on one hand, but nobody that I could actually look up to. And for the longest of times, you feel alone. You know, you'd also want somebody like we're talking right now to who is literally your role model, but also for a little bit more guidance. I think our parents, on the whole as well, also lacked education. Then
that is true.
And so we didn't really have anybody to navigate us through the way we felt emotionally, spiritually, you know. And hence the reason why I think I did speak to you ladies about this a while ago. For the longest of time, I prayed for friends. But I prayed for God to bless me with friends that had my vision.
Thank you.
Had my drive.
Thank you.
And you know, the day we happened to have crossed paths was like a light just flashed before me. And I just knew automatically that it was just
in sync,
you know. And I think that is what the youth lacks if there is no role model. Yes, we all are in different professions, all going towards the same dream. We're all fighting towards the same purpose. And we have these platforms which we're opening up to the community for people to look up to us as role models. So we can actually be there as growing up, we didn't have that shoulder to cry on or that ear that we go in to listen, who could listen to us. So everything that we did growing up was just self-taught, basically. Until we end up in spaces like this where we meet people like us and help each other to navigate as we bounce things off each other. And I think that's also necessary for communities to get involved with, especially in the LGBT.
That is true, because I think we've had this conversation recently of how now we are so comfortable in our skin, how now we're so comfortable with wearing makeup and being in the public, wearing any kind of clothing and walk with pride in the public without being worried what's going to be said or how I'm going to be looked at. It has been a journey for us to get here.
100%.
You know, but also in the same breath, you're seeing the young ones that they're just out there. They're doing it.
They are right.
But for us, it took us forever to get here.
Forever.
You know, let's talk about that journey.
2Ks are
girl.
Let's talk about that journey. You know, because with me, I started, I would say cross-dressing for the purpose of the conversation. When I was in high school already, I started wearing high-heeled shoes. I started wearing the hipsters when they were like really in, the Macarena at the time. So that will tell you my age. The Macarena at that time,
Okay.
So I started at that time, exploring makeup, trying it out, hairstyles, and I went to a school where long hair was not allowed for boys, and I'll always get into trouble, especially when you come back from the holidays, because now you have this long hair, you don't want to let go because it took you
good.
Right. And then and also because I think because I was still very young, maybe also naive, right? Not really caring but also because of the love that I got from home. When you're protected at home and you're embraced at home,
true.
you have that feistiness of saying, who will tell me what? Because at home they're okay, right? Now you grow older, and I think now also losing my parents and being exposed to the world where you no longer have the kind of protection that you had from your parents. Now you sort of like tame because you want to fit in into what is expected of you, and also because I was a people's pleaser for the longest of time. It was more of let me fit in, then you stop wearing this kind of clothing because you have to fit in, looking in this manner in the society, until to a point where as I grow older, I think I realized that, man, I'm living for people. I'm living to make people happy. In the process, I'm not.
Yeah.
I want to wear this skirt. I like it. I want to wear these heels. I love it. It doesn't define anything except that that's the style that I like. That's how I just want to feel and look, So now I do it without even thinking. If I like it, I'm going to have it. I'm going to wear it.
100%.
So that has been like my journey. But for you guys, how has that been?
Oh, well, I would say growing up also helped me learning my identity, finding myself. It was quite difficult, like we're talking about the 2000s now. It's like there is no closet.
Look, it doesn't exist.
No, it does not exist.
A lot of people in the closet actually. The 90s, the 80s, people were in the 70s, born in the 70s.
Right.
That 2Ks?
No, there's no closet.
What are you talking about?
What
is a closet?
So also, I think also just to touch on with what you mentioned, wearing the skirts, wearing the heels, I think it's also a form of self-expression, and it's also fashion. And people misinterpret what you wear and they start labeling you, right? Same like you, I also played around with makeup. I wore the heels because I have like 6 sisters. So whatever heel there was lying around, I was in it. They were mine. So I was in the heels, I was doing the makeup. And then it was quite difficult actually to step out into society, to embrace who I was. Until I was like, you know what? I've got to just live for me. People are not going to like me regardless,
True.
So I'm just going to learn to love and accept myself for who I am. And the moment I did that, everything just took over.
Yeah.
Now I was living for me. Block out the noise, because irregardless of what you're going to do, whether you're straight, gay, people are still not going to like you, they're going to talk about you. Live for you. And for a while, I kept on, because of society, you keep on questioning God. Like, is this really me? Is this really how I'm supposed to live my life? Is this really my purpose? And then there was always that reminder. Because my dad is a pastor, there was always that reminder. He'd always tell me, you are destined for greatness, engineered by God for success. And I used to look at my dad and I used to be like, if he's telling me all of this, so then why do I need to deny myself of who I really am, of my purpose? And I was like, girl, you get out of that closet, hinges and all.
Kick the door open.
Down.
Listen.
And I just embraced who I was, and the rest, I'm here today.
I think education.
Yeah.
And the environment. You touched on it on earlier on. It becomes difficult to be yourself. Also, I've always been feminine, right? But now, how do you then become feminine when you are known as a boy?
Yeah.
And had maybe my family back then had more education about queer people, it would have been much more easier for me to have then expressed myself in that manner.
100%.
And there's a friend of mine, Odumeling, watching this, you'll know this. We said we're going to be fully gay when we once are independent.
Okay.
When we start working now and. But our lives took a different turn. That did not happen like that.
Right.
Because in my mind, I was like, I'm going to be gay and free while, I'm out there.
True.
Because when I'm home, I'm unable to. But then my life took a turn. I came out earlier in life because I had a boyfriend that was just that wanted to out me.
He wanted his presence to be
Listen, wanted to out me, so I had to tell my mom quickly before he did. But also that was a blessing, because then it unlocked that, Then I was able to sit with my mom and literally say, "Listen, girl, this is how it is, and this is how we are rolling." She had her own concerns because now she needs to take this to the community, because also coming out is not coming out at home.
Girl,
The family needs to come out with you as well. And I don't know where this coming out has coming from, because straight people don't come out and tell us that they are straight. But yeah, so it now it was a concern that what will the community now say?
Yeah.
Right? And then it didn't matter to me. I was part of a church where I grew up. When certain things started happening in my life, I also saw that I'm not fitting here, because then I was always constantly having had those judgments. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do me. There's one thing that literally liberated me till today. It's a scripture, Genesis 1:26. Says, God says, let us make man in our image.
Oh.
And there's a pastor who was very homophobic, who was preaching, and that day he did not actually realize that he just turned my life around when he said that you are made in the image of God.
Right.
After the service, I went to him and said, you do not understand what you just did. It was a life-changing moment.
Yes.
Because I understood
you
that.
Got it from there.
I got it from there. Whether you like it or not, you just said it with your own mouth. And the word is the word.
That's it. It doesn't change.
It doesn't change.
And it will not come to earth and go back without having delivered what it was meant to deliver on earth.
That day. So I was like, I'm the image of God. I'm running with this. Right now, you cannot move me. Whatever that you say about me does not shake me, because I know that there is nothing on earth that God created that resembles God other than me. He created the stars, the nature, whatever. But a human being, he said, I will make an image.
Yeah.
So you can't come and tell me stories.
Right.
It makes it's so profound.
It is.
Don't come with stories. Me, with my lipstick and heels.
Thank you.
Listen,
girl.
I am.
Right. Yeah.
So I think also appreciating and loving myself, accepting myself, came from there.
Yeah.
Then I met someone. Then I got married, and then he was gay. Okay. So he embraced the feminine in me. That's where now the experimenting of hair, makeup came. But I was still, a bit shy.
Right.
And also, I think I also wanted to find what is my style. What is it that looks good on me? Identifying, And then, and I remember people who grew up with me, Now they will tell there's like a 360-degree change. Like, TD, is this? I'm like, and don't call me with that other name. My name is TD. So, TD for you.
Yeah, that other name.
That other name, Fire.
Hey. And interesting enough, we have the same name.
We share the same name, Fire.
So it's the other name. We're going to leave it there.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I value more than anything about our friendship is that we are Christians, right? We're not just Christians, but we are born again Christians, right? We pray for each other, we pray together, and we embrace Christianity by all means, right? Now it's about to be the Easter weekend. How are we planning planning to spend the Easter weekend? And beyond that, just individually, what does Christianity mean to you as a queer person, given the dark cloud that is over us, that we are not God's children, we are demonic, we are, there are many words that are used that actually are actually, discriminating against us from the Christian perspective.
Right, so Christianity, okay. Where do I start? My Easter weekend.
Easter weekend. What are you planning?
So my Easter weekend, definitely.
Easter egg hunting.
Definitely not.
Well, the little one will want it.
Right, yes. Spencer will be looking for that. So I definitely will be doing church both Friday and Sunday.
Yeah.
But I think I also need to utilize that weekend to also bond with my partner, also just embrace the quietness that long weekend is going to bring.
Yeah.
I also just want to reflect on all the things that God has done for me thus far.
Yeah.
There's so much going on in our lives, and every day something's happening, So I'm really looking forward to the weekend just to switch off for a bit. So I'm going to spend my Easter, Good Friday and Easter Sunday in church.
Yeah.
And I'm going to just relax at home, spend some quality time with my partner, and also just give thanks to God and embrace what the Easter weekend is all about and the significance of why Jesus died for us,
Yeah.
And that's what I'm going to do for the Easter weekend. And to answer your second question, what Christianity means to me. We're nothing without God, eh?
We are nothing.
Nothing without God. You wake up in the mornings, from the time I actually feel myself starting to wake up from my deep sleep.
Yeah.
The moment my senses are all up, I'm already in communication with God. And that is just thanking Him for another day.
Yeah.
For allowing me to even open my eyes that morning.
Yeah.
And while I'm gathering myself to get ready to get out of bed, I'm already asking God to navigate me, go before me, direct my path. And I started actually speaking things into existence. When God said, ask and you shall receive, there were times I used to be too scared to ask. And I'm like, oh, what is God going to think of me?
You're queer.
Yes, you're always asking for these things. And you want certain things, but you are scared to ask because you think He's not going to bless you.
Yeah.
And I've started getting bold with my asking and started asking God for big things.
Yeah. That's when the faith strengthens and grows and
Right?
Yeah.
And I started just putting it out there and also asking, literally demanding. And reminding God that He promised, reminding Him of His promise, reminding Him of all the things He sacrificed for us and why Jesus sacrificed His life for us so that we could be free. And Christianity for me literally sums up what my parents, how they actually raised me. Because I was raised in a staunch Christian home, and like Cidi also mentioned earlier about the community. When you're coming out and you're coming out with the community. I actually don't know why we needed to do that. But for me, we needed to also come out to the church, you know?
Yeah.
So we are also being stripped of parts of us because now we have so many people that we need to be answerable to because of our identity, you know?
Yeah.
But because of the parents that I have, they kept on reminding me of who God is and why God did and why God brought me here, you know?
Yeah.
And then again, it reminds me of the person I am today is based on, yes, my parents and their faith in God, but also God's trust that he also has instilled in me because he has also ordained us for a time such as this.
Right.
He also has purpose for us. And I think now that I've embraced who I am and I'm also finding my purpose, I'm now able to pass it on to others. So Christianity for me is love.
Yes.
It's kindness. It's sharing. It's giving. It doesn't have to be material things or anything, but giving of yourself, giving of your time, you know? So that is what Christianity means to me.
Amazing. You said a mouthful.
What do I say after
Incredible. Incredible.
What do I say after that? Girl. We are spiritual beings.
Yeah.
There is no way that you are human and you do not have the body, mind, and soul. Something needs to speak to the body, something needs to speak to the mind, something needs to speak to the soul.
Yeah.
And this is where now God is at play, the soul part of it. Even the Bible says men cannot live on bread alone.
True.
But you need something that will also feel and feed the soul. And this is what, for me, Christianity means.
Yeah.
That I need to feel the inner being, the inner person. This inner person needs to be nurtured. We all have this inner person. But you need to have a place where this inner person also accounts to.
Yes.
And where this inner person needs to grow, you know? And once this inner person grows, it also shows. I'll be in a conference. It's the conference.
Yes, girl.
From Friday until Sunday.
It's a weekend of
It's a weekend.
Girl.
Everything that weekend is literally about God and the inner person.
100%.
We are blessed, you know, to have God to have chosen people.
The Dream Stream studio in Randburg is a full-service studio on Brown Fisher Drive. It's perfectly suited for podcast, music recordings, and general video recordings. Backed up by an experienced editing and production team means you can walk in, record, and walk out knowing that everything will get done as you require. Our mobile gear ensures we can cover your video and live streaming needs on location too. We got the cameras, the lights, and the action to make you and your brand shine. Contact us now, studio@dreamstream.co.za, and we'll make it happen. Dreamstream, a place to create yourself.
Who are going to carry the vision. Because people think that now we are queer, now you can't be Christian.
Yeah.
And you can also pray to God.
Right.
When you said you were scared to pray, there was a point where I was also scared to pray to God because now I'm this person, you know. And what happened, Jesus came and died for everyone.
100%.
Everyone.
Not for certain people that praise better or sing better or, you know, tithe better. But he died for everyone, including me.
True.
So if you going to understand it as a queer person, then you're going to go far. And I just wish that also queer people can literally find places of worship.
Yeah.
There's now a number. I'm part of Ark of Joy Christian Ministries, and I'm happy and I'm glad that God opened that door where I can come and worship him without feeling discriminated. Because in other places you would go, immediately when you walk in, the atmosphere changes.
And the preaching changes.
And the preaching, somewhere, somehow, there's going to be an elder now that's going to be coming to you and tapping you on the shoulder and be telling you about and that. And now, me saying that, I've just had an aha moment. As children of God, we are supposed to be atmosphere changers.
Right.
So we can't walk into spaces and the spaces.
Then there's quiet. The same.
Never.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, true.
It can't be.
It can't be.
Because you have to bring the light.
Yes.
You have to be
Shift
the
something.
salt of the earth.
Make others uncomfortable.
Exactly.
Something needs to be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just had that.
Yeah.
But with me, I'm looking forward to the Easter weekend. I'm looking forward to being with other saints, embracing each other first, and also what you said, giving thanks to God. He has done so much for us. God has been faithful. Literally when you look, there's no story that I look back, then I don't see God.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
There is no way that I look at my past, I'm like, I did this on my own. God carried me through even the most difficult moments of my life.
Yeah.
And there were moments, and I believe if I did not know God, I would have not survived those moments. Because there are moments where you literally can't do anything, but he says, just cast everything unto me.
Yeah.
True.
And lean on your own understanding, but just bring it to me, And having also a mom that is a Christian helped a lot, because I believe she prayed for me. And I think one of her fears also, me coming out, was that I was not going to be a Christian anymore. Because, and I showed her, I'm like, but that's not who I am.
Yeah.
I am a child of God. And I think she is proud that throughout my life I have remained consistent. Though maybe other people, having changed churches, think it's me not being stable. But I really wanted a home where I can be able to be myself.
Yeah.
When I want to raise up my hands and say glory, can I not feel eyes, daggers behind me? Because there are moments where the Holy Spirit will take over and you just want to be in that moment. You can't, because now they're like, ooh, this one. You can't be. Yeah. So I am eternally grateful to have a place of worship where I can just come in and just be in the presence of God and just serve and go home and not have stories that follow me thereafter to say, did you see her?
And meetings.
And meetings about me. You can't serve in the worshiping team. You can't serve. Where must I serve? I must serve somewhere.
I think that's why one of the preachers in the US particularly said, if you are going to cut queer people out of churches, then we should erase the songs that were written by the queer people. We should look at the worshiping teams. How many of them are there? We should look at those that are serving in the churches. How many of them are there? And people are also quiet about the gender because they are afraid that they're going to be judged. They're afraid that they're going to be excluded in serving God. And that's the unfortunate reality that we are dealing with on a daily basis, that children of God decide that they will cut you off. They decide that they will judge. They'll be the judge to say you don't qualify. Whilst the Bible says you are made in my image, you do qualify too. And that God has ordained you and given you a certain gift to use in the church because you are body of Christ. But they will decide that no, you will not do it because this is what the scripture says. Also, when you go to those scriptures and you look at the history, which is one of the things that I think preachers should not be lazy to look at the history and the context of why those scriptures were written and written in that way. Because if you unpack and go do a bit of research and find out with the history, you'll find that actually what God was against was the injustices that were done, was the sins that were done, not being a queer person, not being a homosexual person. Because if you are a homosexual person and you live according to the word of God, which is how you carry yourself, how you conduct yourself, and you don't sin, then you are okay, So it's really unfortunate that we have those, but we're grateful that we have churches that are very much inclusive, like Ark of Joy and others out there that exist to be inclusive, because they understand that we are all children of God, 100%. And we should therefore be in same spaces to worship God, to serve God, because for us, like you said earlier, we are nothing without God. I cannot imagine my life without God. We have so many stories that we can tell to show the greatness of God in our lives. And I always say, I will not be where I am now if it wasn't of God. 100%. It was never my wisdom.
Yeah.
It was literally when I look at how challenging my life was, how I was able to navigate. Sometimes I'll sit and think, on my own, I wouldn't have thought of that. I would not have had that wisdom. But you then realize that God opened doors for you. God led you in the right direction. So when you pray every day and you say, be the light unto my feet, direct, me, protect me. And I remember there was a time when I prayed and I said, God, can you, in my life, bring people that will be of value in your godly way, and give me the ability to discern and be able to pick up if people are not for you. They're not supposed to be even in my space, and I have that. I meet you. I can tell immediately that this one I should not. I mean, with you, Mario, we met the first time, and we literally, I think, close to 2 hours, we were talking nonstop. And Mario's PA was like, hey, we have to go to work. And it was like we've met so many years ago. And that was it. It was not forced. It was not an effort made. It was just natural, And this also confirms what you said earlier, that you prayed for the friends that you prayed for. I also prayed. I stayed for so long without close friends, particularly queer friends. And my partner will always want to set me up with people so I can make friends, because he also felt bad, like he's going out and I'm at home. I'm not doing hey, I'm going to my friends and I'm at home. I'm not doing anything. So like he'll set me up with different people, and I knew that my friends will come at the right time, because also it was a matter of, I want godly people. 100%. I want people I can share the same values and principles with. I want people that I can speak the same language with, right? To be my friends. And here we are, the four of us. We are one, in many ways, And I think these are the things that the entire society miss to notice, particularly Christians miss to notice, because they are so clouded with 2-3 verses that speaks against homosexuality without even understanding the context of it, where it comes from, where it's going, and it's the sad part that people have to go through that.
It is very sad. I had an encounter with someone that was literally going off about gay people or homosexuality. I had to literally step in. I said, okay, let's be practical.
Yeah.
Me being gay, you don't know me. We hardly know each other. You see me and all of a sudden you are offended. Right? Does me being gay take any money away from your account? Does it change your life in any? What does it change? Why does it affect you so much?
Oh, no, you said it right. Why do people get offended?
Why?
By you being you?
Be me, right? And this lady couldn't answer. Then I said, okay, fine. You're a Christian, right? She said, yeah. Then I said, okay. So you thinking now you focusing on me being a sin would give you
A ticket to heaven.
A ticket to God's throne.
Thank you.
Yeah. So you want to spend 50 years of your life, 60 years of your life focusing on me.
Yeah.
Does that VIP, do you get a VIP ticket to sit with God like this? And say, because I focus on Tshediso, I'm here.
Yeah.
Go.
But I think for others, they have this thing that I can change you. I can preach the word of God to you and change you. And guys, I have been at different altar calls.
Yeah.
I have fasted. I have prayed for God to take away.
Right.
Why is God blessing me with other things? Why is God helping me to overcome other things?
And not taking this away.
Right. There are so many times, people don't know this, and I'm glad we're sharing this. There were so many times when silently altar calls will be called. And in my heart, I would say, today, and I've been to places where they say, this pastor,
the best.
The McCoy, after McCoy. And deep inside, I would say, today's the day. You know, when he lay his hands on me.
Even if he just looks at you.
Listen, right? And touch the helm of his gown. I'll be fine. Right. Free. Go. Here you
I
are.
am.
And the funny thing, it's like
gayer than ever.
It's like you get an injection to
to elevate,
right?
Yeah. And I'm thinking, please, can you focus on things that are much more important in your life than for you to be focusing that I am gay? You know, pray for your kids, pray for yourself.
True.
Pray for things that you want to go right in your life. You'll never get a VIP. Forget it.
Yeah.
Leave it wherever. VIP tickets, we don't have VIP tickets to go to heaven.
Yeah.
So people must stop with this thing. It really, it's worrying.
Yeah.
That there's so many things that even the Bible, they would quote the things that the Bible says. They were laughing at enigma, saying trimming and trimming. It's in the Bible. How many pastors trim? How many people trim?
How many Christians have tattoos?
How many?
Right?
Do you see us going to them and judging them for that? We don't. Right? So people we just need to move away from that and focus on what is the real issue here. We are there to feed our souls. And
you see, when you say that, it takes me back to when you say your mom was probably afraid that you becoming gay or be openly gay, you're going to stop going to church, you're going to stop being a Christian. Because many other queer people stop because of the judgment that they get. 100%. Not that they don't want to go to church, not that they don't want to serve God, but because they are so judged, they're afraid that what's the point of going there? Because like you said, you'd be in spirit and you come back, you open your eyes, the stairs, right? The stairs of, what are you doing? And I think we are blessed enough that we've got Ark of Joy that is so inclusive that it doesn't matter, in what form you come, because we all understand we come into God. It's like you're going to the hospital, right? Whether you're a doctor, whether you're a lawyer, whether you're an accountant, whatever the case may be, you go to the hospital because you need help. 100%. Right? And as children of God, we are there. That's where we get to be recharged. That is what the sole existence of the church is about, right? But now you get those spaces, and now we have queer people that are not going to church because of such. Many. How then do we encourage them? How then do we give them hope that God still loves you and find a way to serve God? How do we do that?
I think we need to be a bit more vocal with our experiences as well. And what the church has also done for us and what it still continues to do, especially at Ark of Joy. I also feel that, like you also mentioned, a lot of the queer people are no longer going to church because of past experiences. I was one of them, where you don't want to go. And you're like, I might as well just pray at home, And then, obviously, being around you ladies and hearing more about Ark of Joy, and whenever I had a moment or could attend the church, it also gave me that sense of belonging. It gave me that sense of wanting to get up and go and worship, So for us to actually get the queer community more involved in the church. I think we need to be more vocal about our personal experiences with God and with the church.
Yeah.
And I think people will then start paying attention to their own personal development with God and what they want God to do for them. Because yes, going to church is like going to a hospital. We go there to mend our souls. We go there to mend our spirits. We also go there to be amongst people who have that like-minded abilities to motivate you and to push you, to pray with you. Because like Tsidi also mentioned the last time, and I'll never forget when you preached in church the one day, and where you also mentioned where 2 or 3 are gathered, irrespective of how many. So that is what church is all about. It's for where we gather, and when we pray as a unit, it becomes more meaningful. So people need to come to the church and, put yourselves out there. It's necessary, I think. And also necessary for us to be a little bit more vocal about Ark of Joy and about what the church can actually do for our community, because it's doing a lot for us.
Yeah, definitely.
Be proud of being the child of God. A lot of people shy away, even on social media, to talk about this God, to talk about this amazing God.
True.
Every time I talk about God, I light up. My spirit is ignited.
You do.
Because
you never does.
Really?
She does.
Because I understand who he is in my life. The problem is then we find that other queer people are ashamed and afraid to talk about God. I've been in so many different spaces. Last weekend I went home. One of my cousin's wife lost her mom. Walked in the hills, and I declared his name. And do you know what happened? People started moving from where they were to come and see who's this person. And when I saw that, I'm like, now this is the opportunity for God to just show off. And I've seen my partner called me this other day. Yeah, my partner.
Yes, girl.
Called me this other day. Say, you were in Witbank. And I'm like, and apparently there's a video of me trending where we went and somebody passed away. We went there to just pay our condolences. And somebody took a video. It is those moments that we need not to shy away from, to show other queer people that you can be queer and still be able to proclaim and shout out his name on top of the mountain and say, everything that we have here sitting here is not from us.
True.
It is through prayers. It might not also be prayers that we prayed, but maybe our family's prayers.
True.
Right?
True.
So we cannot now be taking the credit. So I get excited even on social media when I find people, that queer people talk about God. I just wish that more and more queer people could be open to receiving, and availing themselves and see how their lives are going to change.
Incredible. Yeah. So it's said that time will always dictate when to stop, right? But this is not the end of it, because every month, every first week of the month, I'll be having these 2 phenomenal people with me in studio. We'll be talking about different issues that affect us, different issues that are important to us as queer people, because it's necessary that we do talk about it. And I was asked the question earlier that we're going to talk about church, God and all of that, but we have in BNG. So before you judge, BNG has non-alcoholic. All right. Okay.
Right.
So any closing thoughts that you have for today? From stuff we've spoken about.
You can go.
Let's talk about the NPO we're going to launch quickly.
Okay, quickly, right? Yeah, 2 minutes. So myself and all of in fact, all of us, I shouldn't say myself, all of us, right? All of us, because of the passion we have to empower other people, the passion we have to assist other people and give support where it is necessary. We have established a non-profit organization. It is called African Diverse SOGIESC Pride, and we are basically focusing on firstly, creating awareness on different issues when it comes to queer people, but also advocating for the rights of all queer people, including people that are fleeing their countries, particularly in the African continent, because their lives are in danger just for them be who they are. So we assist them that when they come to South Africa through the path of asylum seeking and becoming refugees. And we do that in various forms, really, where now the intention is also to have a home where we can house them, but also displaced South African queer people from any part of the country, so they have a home where they can be safe and be able to start their lives and get empowered. And we are all the directors. We are the driving the ship, and maybe for you just to share what it means to you to be part of this non-profit organization, because it really is about making sure that we extending our hand to other queer people, whether it's in the form of empowering or whether it's in the form of giving assistance where it's necessary.
Right. So being a part of such an initiative, especially when you had spoken to me about it, it was like a no-brainer.
Yeah.
It was like, girl, you are like speaking to my soul. You're speaking to my spirit. Yeah. You are like, I'm there.
Yeah.
I'm in. I don't want to hear it. No, say no more.
Yeah. I saw like your immediate reaction. It wasn't of I will think about it, or it's just like I'm in. Let's go.
Right. And that's how it was, like you were just speaking to my spirit. And the reason why I also jumped on was because I want to be there to assist in any way, shape or form, because I know we all have different platforms which we could utilize to educate and empower, and also to help, people that are also coming in from different countries looking for asylum, etc. So I know I have the capabilities, and being in a part of this organization, especially with like-minded individuals like yourselves, it just made so much of sense, and I'm so excited. Yes. To be a part of this. It's going to be an amazing, I know it's going to be an amazing journey. Yeah.
Right. Like I said, this is bigger than us.
Right.
We are part of a bigger picture. If we were to understand that, would live better as human beings. And also this organization, it really speaks to the value of who we are, the respect, the dignity, more than anything else, because if roles were reversed and we were also in such a situation where our constitution and our rights are threatened, what would we do?
Yeah,
true.
This, for me, I had to take that moment and say, as is, there's so many issues that are happening in South Africa that threatens our constitution and our rights. Then we surely need to be doing something, to have an impact. In closing, for me, you are valid. More than anything, you are valid. You are valid. You are valid. There is no ounce or a piece of you that is not validated by God. If we're to run with that and know that we are the image child.
That's it.
That's it.
That's it. Yeah. Guys, thank you so much for today. It's been incredible. A lot of important things were brought forward, but I think, the profoundness of, what you shared today, I hope that it inspires someone, it gives someone comfort, it reassures someone out there. And remember, you're welcome to share your thoughts as well. And you can, you must subscribe. It's necessary for you to subscribe. And also leave your comments on the comment section. We actually make time to look at them, because they'd also, give us an indication what are kind of topics that are important to you that you would like us to discuss. And look out for the next one. We are going to have more and more guests that are coming. But remember, once every month, they are here with us. Until the next time, it's a goodbye from me.
Ciao.